Rubén, dile a la gente, Rubén, dile que estás en el Yeshiva aquí a la gente. De ahí, canta ahí.
הגיע, אבל לא יודע איפה הוא הלך שם. יוסף, אני לא יודע, יוסף ספארקס, הוא כמה ימים כבר לא ראשי.
אוקיי, סייעתא דשמיא. סייעתא דשמיא. What do we have? What do we have in the Gemara? The Gemara said, Oba said halacha. What was the halacha of Oba? Somebody's mekadesh, chetzi, neina mekudeshes. Chetzi a woman, not mekudeshes. So mazut Rebbeinu Ravina, mazut re'es, the nifshet to kedusha b'kol. Let the kedusha expand to the whole woman. Right? That was the most kosher. So Tosfos explains that Rashi and Tosfos both explain. The most kasha is only built an understanding that because he used the language kiddushin, and it is harad mureses, and kiddushin is the language of kedusha. So therefore, there's a power in his words to expand. Same way by kedusha, by neder, there's a power in the word to expand the words, kedusha. There'll be a neder on the whole animal, etc. Same thing is here. There's a power to expand and make it a complete kiddushin on the whole woman. This is what the Gemara is asking. And that's the way Tosfos explains the Havamim. Now, Tosfos in Amud Beis says, Shnei chetziach bepruta. Somebody says, 2 parts. 2 half of you bepruta. So Gemara has a doubt. Moine voilech or what? Or is pascha. It's poising. Separated. And Tosfos says, what's the problem? Even though it's separated, each half is separated. Still, there's a concept of nifshet to kedusha b'kulam. So he says, you're right. If I use the lashon kedusha, it will expand. Right, we use it. Lashon irusin is not expanding.
Over here, you're not lacking the quality of her not agreeing.
Because so the B'chaim Alevi explains his Gemara. Here, okay, good. I want to add right away, so I jumped into the B'chaim, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that when he tells her 2 halves, what really is happening? 2 halves, Bepruto, really she agreed to get married fully. With 2 maisim or 1 maisim. Gemara has a doubt, but even if it's 2 maisim, but she agreed to get married all with, and the first maisim is half. So let the half expand to all. And she agreed to all because she said the other half is also be married, be kedushes. He says you're right. It's only because you use the lotion of irusin or lekuchin. If you use the lotion kedusha, expand. So we see from Tosfot, very important point, that the maskolas hagemora and Amud Aleph, when mazut re'es let dusha be expand, and in the end said osa be'ima, and he is das acheres. It's only because when I have das acheres, but I don't have das acheres. I don't have das acheres. Then it works. It will expand.
You do have das acheres then.
Das acheres doesn't expand. She doesn't agree. When there's no das acheres opposition, will expand. That's a little bit emes. That's what comes out in Toisos. But all the Rishonim didn't make that chiluk. All the Poiskim didn't make a chiluk that if I use Loshen Kedusha, so then really, according to the Maskone, when the place when there's no Dadacher, is an opposition, will expand. No. Either way, it doesn't expand. It doesn't matter if you use Loshen Irusin, according to the Maskone Sagemora, there's no expansion. Question is why? Why all the Poiskim don't hold, they bring down Shnei Chetzach Bepruto, the stuff like Gemara. But they don't say it should be Vadei Mikudeshes through expanding because there's no Das Acheres. They don't make a chiluk. Say it doesn't matter if I lost an Irusin or Lekuchin or Kiddushin, it doesn't expand. Which means they hold, according to the Maskona, that when the Gemara says Das Acheres, really the Gemara is saying, since the Das Acheres, so therefore it can never expand. But not because when I have Das Acheres cannot expand, when I don't have Das Acheres could expand. No. Das Acheres means when you say Chetzi, so then she heard Chetzi, and then that's the first stage. And Mimele can never expand to fully, because the Torah says Isha lo Chetzi Isha, so basically it gets knocked down. That's a dochuk. That's the way the Makane explains the Gemara according to most Rishonim. It's a dochuk. That's his answer. Again, here's what we learned last time. What? Again, the Avamina according to Toys is the same. There's no miut, there's only mashmos. According to the Maskona, according to Toys says the Maskona is there's only mashmos. And the reason why I knock it out because that's Achesh, she doesn't agree, but when she will agree, will work. That's Toys says. When there's Loshen Kiddushin. Only when there's Loshen Kiddushin, there's no Das Achesh will expand. All the Rishonim said no. That Maskona Sagamora, this concept of Pshitas Kedushin is out of the window. By Kiddushin, I don't have Pshitas Kedushin. Why? There says Isha lo Chetzi Isha. So it never starts. Right when I say Richard, bounce out. It can never expand. Even if she agrees, yes. Yes. All the points came all that have Amina that will expand Lav Dav Kolosh and Kiddushin. Even though Shenirusin Lekuchin, but Kiddushin is Isurin. So although I didn't say the word Kiddusha, there's an Isur. So inside the Isur, we learn from that's the obligation we learn from Gamrei. Since we found the concept of Gamrei that if it is organ knockout or will exist, you say that will finish and exist. We see that concept by Kedusha. So we really want to learn that the neder, that the dibur, that the isu can be completed, and that's it, can be completed. That's that we're going to explain it more. That's the question. But definitely you're right. According to all the poskim, they learned the Havamina was Lav Dafka Loshen Kiddushin, even Loshen Irusin Lekuchin will expand.
That's big miler.
Yes. The Gemara wants to mention that's a big miler. But then you're not doing the Gemara. The other Rabbi, Toisa says he is Loshen Kiddushin and Amud Beis. That's a big dog. It's two dechikos. Say only Lav Dafka Loshen Kiddushin. Number two, and Amud Beis are only Loshen Irusin. Has to be passed all the same.
What was the other shot? What was the second shot?
All the other Rishonim learn.
They said different, but
They learn-
how did they explain it? The explanation.
So they learned that the Havamina in the Gemara was Kol HaLeshonos. It's an Isu. Kiddushin is an Isu. What? I'm talking about the Makkah.
Well, I don't know.
Using the Makkah.
I should have read the Makkah in the paper. It doesn't say anything about places from the base. Doesn't say anything about not the one that we have on the paper.
Toys מתחיל חצי בפרוטו. Toys דיבור מתחיל חצי
He comes to the paper that he goes back and explains it.
That's a Toys quotes.
We don't have the part where he goes back.
ובזה מתירוץ קושה סטייסמס. להי, ואם זה תירוצי. Two Toys.
Ale is previous.
Yeah, but he starts with that Toys that לא ימש בקמתיס הפויסקים, ונראה את הארץ. What's explained those Rishonim? Mainly answers the first things. Maybe speak something.
We explained that. I'm not arguing. I didn't see it.
Okay. Let's summarize. Okay.
How did he answer?
Okay. Let's summarize what we got. Let's summarize what we have. Machlokes Rishonim. You have Rashi and Tosfos one side against all the other points. Tosfos says that the Havamin of the Gemara, the Nishat Yekudush Bekulo, is only when I say Lashon Kiddushin. A. Number two, B. It's even according to Maskono, the Gemara holds that the Kiddush can expand. The Kiddush can expand by Kiddush. And why it doesn't work? Because it's Das Acheres, she didn't agree. When the clays, when they say Shnei Chetzach Beputo, Chetzer Chetzach Beputo, will be expand. So what do we see? That Tosfos holds that Libre Emes, that Kasha still says that Libre Maskono. But all the Poskim don't hold like. All the Poskim, they held that Shnei Chetzach Beputo, it's Lav Dafka Loshen Kiddushin, even Loshen Yerushin is all the same. And I don't say expansion somehow. So which means you have to say that the Havam in the Gemara is somebody is Mekadosh, half a woman. And the Marzut Reis let the Kedusha expand, right? That opinion, that question only is only a Havamina. But according to the Maskono, doesn't exist. Why? Because the Gzeras HaKodesh says Ish or Chetzi Isho. So you can't say it can expand. When can I say it can expand? When Chetzi Be'ema Kodesh Dushas Dom. It's already Kodesh. Then you want to expand it all to Kuloi to Dushas Aguf. But when the Chetzi is right away bounced out, because there it says Ish or Chetzi Isho Gzeras HaKodesh, and Miut said it can never expand, it can never starts. Right? And if Makane learns, that's what it means, Das Acheres Makane. Also Das Acheres. Also Das Acheres means as a posuk. Since I have a posuk, yes, therefore it's a posuk, and it's Memayet, Isho Lechetzi Isho. Mimele can never expand, so Mimele never expands. Also, Shnei Chetziach Beputo can be Loshe Kiddushin. It's better, it cannot expand. Das Acheres means I have a Gzeras HaKodesh. There's an Isho Lechetzi Isho, it's an expand. What? Who? No, that's happening. That's the Cheshire. So this is Machlokes Rishonim. We learned last week. Simple Machlokes Rishonim. How to learn the Gemara. Now, yes.
When you
Yes.
it was never based on the
Very good. So that's where the big Kashmul comes in. What was the dimyoin according to Shitas Kol HaPoskim? What's the dimyoin between Hegdesh and Kiddushin? My Hegdesh, Kedushas Tomi, can expand to Kedushas Aguf the whole body, but still, here, when I say Chetzi Isho, the Das of Chetzi Isho is Chetzi, it's not a Chetzi Kinyon, it's nothing. So, how can you expand the Isu and also the Kinyon? You have to expand the Kinyon. How do you expand the Kinyon? How do you expand the Kinyon? The Kinyon was only on Chetzi, and the Das was only on Chetzi. So you may expand the Isu and all. How do you expand the Kinyon? That's the problem according to all the points. Which means also Kasha and Tosfos. The Tosfos answer is included in his Das, because since he knows that it expands, he says when he chose Kiddushin and not Irusim, that's what explained Shukroli. So he may like chosen as part of my Das. That I knew that I'm giving her Kiddushin that expands. It's all part of my nas. I chose in this way. It's das at all. What's the maskona? Maskona is das acheres. He doesn't want. Because why she didn't want? So that's the case. There's only mafkir, and he can machia between the stira what he wants, but she cannot machia the stira what he wants because it's hidden, and she only agrees to what she heard. She and she's not part of the Kiddushin, so therefore she never the achot to expand. That's why when we explain Tosfos again, I was a case of yesterday last week again. I'm over again. We said machlokes between Tosfos against all the points, right? Point to Tosfos, it's only the Avamid is also stays on Maskon, and it's only Loshen Kiddushin. Loshen Kiddushin expands, right? So now, what was the Havamina? That the kedusha and expand. That's only the east. So how can I expand the das of the kinyan, the kichan all? So we answer is all part of what he knows. When he chose lashon kedushin, although he said chetzi, chetziach means chetzi not all. He also said kiddushin. He chose kedushin. It's as if he's giving her an expansion kiddushin. So that's what he gave her, right? Because he chose kiddushin not the kikach and then not the musi. So he made it's part of his das. So what's the maskon? Why doesn't it work? The answer is when we say it's part of his das, when I have a stira, him that he knows what he's das. But she's not him. She only agrees what she heard, and she's not part of the kedusha. If she's part of the kedusha, okay, she expands by him, so she knows that she agrees to kedusha. She's part of the expanding, so she's part of that. But she's not. Yeah, she's not part of that. She's only agreeing. She's mafkiras, not really part of the thing. So it's only agreeing. Agreeing is agreeing to the steer, not agreeing to the solution. Okay, this is what we said Thursday. Shot them twice. That he, when he has a steer, here's what he says. We has a steer. Is machia the steer that he since he chose a lotion, kedusha, not lotion kichen, and mureses. So he meant to say that I'm giving you only half that I can expand. I said I want to go to chetzi, but I'm using kedusha and I can expand. Because what? Because he said chetzi, but he also chosen the word kedusha. What? No. First of all, what he meant to say. We have a steer. What he meant. One says that chetzi is not all. The other says he says I'm giving you chetzi that can expand, which means I don't want more than chetzi, but I'm giving you something that automatically will expand. So how do you solve that steer? You say it's all thrown out, and we say no. He's part of his meaning that he knows that he meant to say that will expand. But that acho is only in his mind. She has a steer, and she has only chetzi not all, and she's not part of the kedusha of expanding. She's only agreeing to the steer. She didn't agree to the solution. The male doesn't expand. No, that's in his kash. His kash is mitzat the husband, even though he said chetzi v'loy kuloi, as man nashogah kolos to expand. That's all that he knows, or that's the you don't care. He says chetzi v'loy it's all part of his das. What? Yes, that's what it really means. But that's what it really means. That's only one who speaks and he's involved. But one doesn't speak. She's mafkira, so she's only agreeing. She agrees to the chitzonius, doesn't agree to the salvation of explaining the lomdus. That's him. So he's involved with the Lord. He's doing it. So he's involved what he wants to do. Me, I'm only involved what I hear. Although I hear he chose also kiddushin, and he said chetzi v'loy kuloi. So I know that's what the Rotzani told me, and I'm a world of Rotzani. So you don't have a proof that I need to agree. I was agreed to his solution. Because if she was part of the Hegdesh, she was part of the Kiddushin like him. So then, when she says, and she said yes to Kiddushin that expands. Say, but she's part of the solution. Adas, it's all part of it. But if she's not part of the Kedusha, she's only agreeing, she's only haskoma to mafkir herself. So she's mafkir herself to the words he's saying, not to his solution of his words. And she heard a stira. So then there's a stira. So then you don't have a proof of her. She agreed more than the stira. The stira can be off, can be in.
First of all, by hektish, that means if the guy says, I only want half, but not the whole.
Yes.
Not the whole. Does it work? By hektish, by the animal.
No.
But the hektish.
You said the Kedusha.
Explain it says yes. I'm the same. It says.
By Hegdesh.
I'm the hektish. Explain it says. I said that when he's saying,
no. It says Manda Shukos
No.
That's what exactly he brought.
No. It says. Vada gabi behema shashnei sukim sheknish shneim ati behema. I'm going to he said Monday here. You really asking on the Pirush head, but what do you have?
Right, and then what happened? What's the law? Yeah, what's the law?
Sagt der Vater, bekommt
Call my phone. Because there's man who's a good matter.
man, it works. It's saying it works. It's saying it works. Make you say that works.
Vai ser getzi
Not
veloi kuloi.
Kedushin, not Kedushin, by the animal.
Vai kedusho. By the animal, vai ser getzi veloi kuloi. What does works mean? It's kodesh all or not kodesh all?
No, it's not.
That's what some you said the same word.
So what? So that, sorry.
Expand, you're right.
Again. So if so, but Ishtar,
It's also expands.
slowly. If so, parallel, but Ishtar, we're talking about what he said to her,
Yeah. Right.
So then if so, his das is not on the whole.
No,
No.
because we say by Kiddushin definitely we need das. Yeah, so we saying, so how do we solve this? How do we solve this kasha? Say that he knows that that's the thing of Hegdesh. He knows when he's saying Kiddusha and not Irusin and Lekichus. So he knows that this is the halacha, that even he makes it nice, man, and expands. So he says, it's as if he's saying, I want the rules of Kiddushin to take effect. That even against my will, it's part of my will. It's all part of the package. But when she's not part of that, just to hear him, he hears a stira. She doesn't have a solution, right? You don't say that she calculates, it's a stira, and it goes to the Ekdesh, that's what he's giving. He's not part of that. That's his world. His words. Exactly the point. That he has a stira, which is part of his das. It's included in his das, and he knows that although he said, he knows his man, he knows his condition against the Torah. That's only him. So he's doing it. He knows the laws reference to him. So we say that's all part of his conclusion and solution. But she has a stira. She doesn't have to come at the conclusion. It's him. She doesn't have to come to the conclusion. She only hears what he says. She doesn't have to come to any conclusion. She says a stira. Man, there's no what's on no. So what's for the stira? Only catching out.
It's acting like Kool-Aid, and he really means, he knows he means all of it.
It's like saying kados. It's like saying kados. This is the
He doesn't, but that's
kados. Saying the word of Torah works. It's in Mela. I love the Torah and the rabbis. Whatever the rabbi said, I agree. That's called das. That's das. Das like the rabbis. Kados. I feel like das like the rule.
You don't call that, that's not.
It's part of that.
Another question is,
Yes.
really is das, if it's really is das,
Yes.
if it's really in his mind true,
Yes.
so why do we need Hekdesh? Why do we need Hekdesh at all? Just say that he, but it
True.
says.
Very good. Very good. My understanding was, Shan and Toisves, when the Toisves says, English means he wants the rules of English that one. That's all, the mechanism, not the same. There's Isuk Dusha, is Isuk Kiddushi. It's different. It is Herva. It is Kiddushi, it is a Herva. But he wants the mechanism to be the same.
Why does the Gemara have
What?
to, why does the Gemara have to bring Hekdesh?
Yes. So the Makna says that's what he Toisves. But the Rishonim that don't hold so how to explain the Avamin, which is no mute, only Mashmod, so much Konasamim. This is what we learned last week. I want to see the Kashmoel.
Okay.
Go ahead. Why don't we give over?
Gemara have to bring Hekdesh. If the whole thing is based on his das, what do you think?
Answering. I just said what I told him. He wants it to be the rules of it. When he chose in the word Kiddushin, not Irusin, he chose the word Kiddushin, means I want the rules of Kiddushin to be taken.
Also, Shlomo here,
Yes,
the fact that he brings in the concept of healthcare by the Isha,
yes,
that seems to say that's the reason why it stopped her being
right.
But
I'm saying even in Pashtun is only concept in Das. Even the Cheshvan Mekasha in there, it's not him. It's only the rules of Hegdish, not Hegdish Mamash, because Erev is not Hegdish. It's just the rules. When he says Aram Kodesh, it means he is included in his Das that he wants the rules. But that's only him because he speaks and he chose. He has the Koach Bechira. She's not part of the Koach Bechira, what he chose. Adarabah, she is a stira. She is and also the word Kodeshes. She's not there to give any solutions. The human being, the person, is give solutions. I want the rules of Hegdesh. So you say you have a stira in your words. You said only Chetzi. You might against the Torah against what you said. You want the rules of the Torah of Hegdesh. Here is Muslim, and he's giving Hatna'ah condition against what he said, Kiddushin. It's a steer in his words. He said Kiddushin means I want the rules of Kiddushin, not the law of Egdesh, because not Egdesh. I want the rules of Kiddushin to expand. He also said Chetzi v'loy kuloi. So by Egdesh, when I say Chetzi v'loy kuloi, it's Matna and Moshe B'Torah. Here I want the rules of Egdesh, that as if I'm Matnen, but really I'm not Matnen, because it only depends on my das, what I want. And so I want the rules, means I want it all with the rules of all. And that's only him, because he speaks the language of Egdesh. He says, I want the rules. But she doesn't answer the stira. She's mafkir herself and just wants to his word. She's willing to hear his words. His words what? Stira in his words.
The beginning of the Shlomo, when we're doing the concept of
Yes, that's my Kiddush. That's why I hate this. I'm a Kiddush, my Hegdesh. And he wants to make a video in between Hegdesh here, brings an Hegdesh, and therefore also by Kiddushin, should be the same rule.
In those balconies you have, but battle right or muscle that
By Kiddushin?
By Kiddushin,
No, not saying. Saying that since I say I use Lashon English, that means I want the rules of it. Is it a point that did you learn shot in the Achezer Shloim that the why by Kiddushin is similar to Egdesh? So I have the rules of Egdesh, and therefore, even though I'm not, I say Chetzi loy kula, I only Chetzi isho, but there's a matna mashakos matoyo. Where the Torah said this rule by Egdesh, by Kiddushin, only by Egdesh.
You think that
And the answer on the Kash.
says here in the Kash, it says,
Yes.
By the card, the Italian name is Rutzone, the Belgadi, so he's in the hero to be Batel.
She agreed to what he said.
But she's only in the
He agreed to the rules he said. The answer is she didn't agree to the rules he said. She agreed to his words. He that he's making, so he's agreeing to the rules that he made for himself. But she didn't make the Kiddushin. She agrees to his words. Not to making his words. She is a stira. One who makes it says not a stira. It's a question of solution to what he meant to say. One who hears doesn't have to give salvation what I meant. I don't have to mean nothing. I agree to what you said. I hear stira. I don't want to hear the solution of the stira. We have to decide what you want. You want A or B? You didn't want stira, you want A or B. So then we have to make a decision. And you make a decision that you meant to say to expand by rules of Egdesh. But me, so I don't need to give a solution. I just need to agree to what you said. I'm not part of the action. Yes, what's my das? I'm not part of the das. I'm making it A or B. I just agree to what you said. I mean, the word's phonetic. We need the phonetic. For that, they have a stira.
She's like, oh, he's a man who only wants to marry half of me.
Right.
That means I can marry another man. She's like, oh, here you go.
And that doesn't work, right? Doesn't work, right?
She doesn't know the laws.
Who says?
She doesn't know that the laws of Hekdesh are applying.
No, she knows that whatever the rabbi said, she agreed to the rabbi. When a person says half means half and not all, it doesn't work. She agrees to the rabbi. But she doesn't have to, when you make a Ma'aseh Kinyan, we have to find what's your intention. What do you want to buy? What do you want to sell? So the husband, which is part of the Ma'aseh Kinyan, the Ma'aseh Hegdesh, Kiddushin. So therefore, we have to decide what do you want. He said half and not all, or he said Kiddushin expand. We have to make a decision. Can't be that he didn't want what he wanted. He just spoke like a zombie. Definitely meant something. We have to explain in his action. He's doing the action, what he meant in his action. A or B. So we have to come to a solution. We decided A, not B, not half and not all. His Kiddushin will be the rules of English. But we don't have to decide on her what is a das. What? Because she's not doing it. She just has to, we have to find out what she heard. She agreed to what she heard. She heard a contradiction. And other rabbi, she heard,
It says here, the Kash is saying, between the Kash and the Tzei, she only changed the issue's position, but the issue didn't change, right?
Right.
Because the issue is good.
Right.
So here he said that Image Gichel of the Vod of Klal.
Right, by Hegdesh.
This is not by the Kiddushin.
No, by Hegdesh. Hanami Kiddushin, that since he says, I want to have the rules of Hegdesh, so therefore he means he wants to expand. There, you don't mashgiach because it's a mikil mashal b'Torah. And here, because I want the rules of that.
But
She agreed. I don't even know if she agreed to his rule. Askona, no, she didn't agree to his rule because his rules came from a solution in the steel. We have to decide what he wants in this das of the kinyan. She's not part of the das of the kinyan. She don't have to decide what is a das. She can stay with him, be a bulbelet, a doubt. Now it means I don't want. It's not clear as out.
And it means that other question apart from that is there's also part of the
For the Toysvis,
like the Magna,
the answer is like the Makna is Havamin.
doesn't look like the Chayvit Shlomo to get with the Magna.
I don't know. You have to find a solution.
Because he has.
Where's the part where there's Xeras HaKosu knocks it out? Since Xeras HaKosu, so it never expands. You have to say that you have the Makna solution that there's no me, there's no direct me, there's only mashmos. You have to say contra Torah, that's a mashmon. Unless that's all the other Rishonim. What does this hold? Go to the Makne. Right? No, not clear. It doesn't explain. You want to use the small of the Makne half, I mean, go to Maskone too, contra Torah. That's one solution. Oh, solution is okay.
The people can Shlomo, what do you say? Is that since you want to but him mistaken
Again?
The people can Shlomo, what do we say is in that? What is a Petri Shah?
He meant to say, according to the rules.
Oh, maybe he doesn't know that getting sketchy works.
No, that's by Hegdesh. You don't care. It's against the Torah.
Why you can say that?
Because like Kiddushin is Kinyan. Yeah, where's your das?
No, he was back in Chesed.
So how can expand? Even if these two expand, where's the das of the Kinyan? I know you have to have das of the Kinyan. That was the whole kasha of the Kashmon, everybody else. Not run away from that kasha. He's a fundamental kasha. So you have to say that he wanted the rules, and Mimela, that's his das. You have das of the Kinyan. And let's see how the Bikashmul sound. See, Bikashmul seems to be following the Makne. Then the Makne follows all the other poskim that argue on Toisus. And he gives explanation according to all the other Rishonim. Not like
Why does it have to be the argument?
what?
Why does it have to be the British move argument?
No,
You would see,
he's giving.
a short teacher.
That's it. That's it. That's it. What?
The Tosfos of Rashi, right?
Rashi is
Is it not the Rashi that brings the Tosfos of Daflash and Hekdesh? Or when he says
definitely Rashi is Mufurash. Yeah, Rashi says clearly.
I wasn't sure if he meant maybe all these Rishonim are like Hekdesh. More rest maybe some of all that like Hekdesh.
No, he said in reading his language. He jumped on Rashi, the first Rashi in the period. Anything. Nishit. Be the Rashi loud.
Yes, that's
Rashi does the same, that is. Okay. Now let's see the Kashmir. Now we're ready with the Kashmir. Now that we know Machlokes Rishonim between Toitzvus and other Rishonim, cases we have the Kashmir Shloimo, other Rishonim we have the Maknav and Mas. Let's see now what the Kashmir says. The leaf shetu everyone has the Kashmir. The leaf shetu Kiddush B'Kol. Milo Itanio didn't we know it in the Braisa. Somebody says the leg of this animal is oilo, so then the whole animal is oilo. You had a doubt. The Torah says, the law, the Torah says, what is it? Do we say that the chesol and it's a lack? The Maisha is skatchus, in the act of the skatchus, in the act. Oh no, not in the act, grandmother, it's not the act. The results, the chalois. The biuachdinu, the explanation of this law will be. The Torah said, the lake chalois kiddushin. The reason a law takes effect of kiddushin al chetzi isha and half a woman. The avikim mekadesh uba is like somebody does kiddushin an embryo. She'en alav chalos kiddushin, no chalos kiddushin. Achanami here, miya to'av Torah, the Torah is memayet, al chetzi isha, the lake chalos kiddushin, because like an embryo. That's the second side. There's two sides. The Torah said a woman and not half a woman. What's the problem? Is an action. Somebody's such an action, you bounce it out. Action. Or the result of chalois, that you cannot make a chalois. You cannot have a law taking effect on a half a woman like an embryo. Embryo is not it's not in a law existence. It's not what? It's not a law of existence. It's not a din mitzias. It's not that mitzias. It's not a reality of existence by law, like Uber, like embryo. So there's no such existence in the law to have a half a woman. So the problem is in the law of chalois of the din. Cannot take an effect on an embryo, like Chetzish doesn't exist. Such a law by the law, such a reality by law doesn't exist. Or no, problem is not in the law of taking effect in the chalois. Problem is in the ma'ase. Come on in, Alex.
It's Tal. So the guy it's Tal. This was not coming. Let's say
What?
What's not coming between the two sides?
What's enough in between?
The two sides.
Very big enough kamina. The Raya brings down. Let's see the Raya. Vevi Raya brought a Raya. The Udin Mamais is catches. He said, I'll prove you that a problem when the Torah says half a woman on a half, it's a problem in the action, not in the law, not a law to take results. Why? Mi boy le kamon amud beis. Gemara has a doubt in amud beis. Shnei chetziach vepruto ma'o. Two of your halves vepruto. What's the law? Okay, here, vaday bechatzim nekomalo. Here, and one time he told her, or Dilmar, or maybe Enisha Miskalis. Those are two sides of Gemara. You cannot make Kiddushin half a woman. Again, the Gemara says, somebody says two of your halves Mekudeshes. The Gemara has a doubt. What's the two sides? Since he said two halves, said the result is he has two halves. One shot is a two halves, no problem. Or Dilma, a woman cannot miskal. What is the other side? Which means it's not only a problem in the result, it's also a problem in action. So what do we see from the Gemara? Clearly, the problem of Isha L'Chetzisha is definitely also a problem in action. He doesn't say only. We say only the Evi Raya do din b'maise iskach. It's a Raya. It's only, or it's a Raya also. I understand it's a Raya also, but yes.
No mices.
What?
No halos. Finish what the about.
There is a mice and chetzi. When he says two of your halves with Pluto, right? She agreed to be married fully, and then it's two halves. So if the problem of chetzi is the result, here the result is two halves. I have two halves is equal one, complete woman, right? So the result, I have a complete woman. And yet the Gemara has a side that doesn't work. Because it's Chetzisha. So we see what's the problem with Chetzisha according to that side. It's not a problem in the result. The problem is what? Is an action. So I have two actions that create a result of one. So we see the problem is an action. How did the Chalois din and the mice? What are the two sides? The both. The two sides is when somebody says Aram Kodesh L'Chetzi, what's his problem? Problem is in the act. Such a word. No. Email is no chalois. But what's the problem when the Torah says Ish L'Chetzi? Don't do such an act. Such an act doesn't exist. Or the problem is such an act cannot take effect of a law. In the result or in the action. So I'll show you, he says, I'll show you it's an action. What's the guy? I'll show you it's an action. Because when he says two of your halves, the puto, there, if it's only a problem, if Chetzi is a problem in the result, she wants to be married whole. Chetzi plus Chetzi, half plus half, how much equal? Complete. So she wants complete.
How was the
Yes. Akira was time was on the Maise on the Chalois the result. No, forget about Chalois. Already before the Chalois enters, already bounced out when you do such a Maise. I cannot do a Maise on the Ubo. The Chison, no, the Chison of Ubo, that's a Chison of Ubo is a Chalois.
No Chalois club.
No Chalois club, by Ubo. Whereas when a person says Chetzi Isha, the problem is in the Chalois, the problem is in the Maise.
this side of the time was have the Ma'aser, but Chisoron in the Ma'aser. That was the first
No,
time.
there's no, the Chisoron, no. The Chisoron in the Maisa or Chisoron in the colors?
You're saying that the first time was the Ma'aser, it's a Chisoron in the Ma'aser, and the second time there's no Ma'aser Klal.
Okay.
There's not
I can follow what you're
It's not
saying.
Ma'aser clothes, both in the Ma'aser.
There's no Chalos.
What? Chalais is something else. Ma'aser is one thing, Chalais is another.
So the first time was there's the Ma'aser, just the second time there's no Chalos, there's no Ma'aser.
No, Chalois, we made the Maisa exists. No, Chalois. Mail has been thrown out, but it's not a problem in the mice. Problems in the Chalois.
What's the first time?
The problems in the mice.
What's the difference?
When I do it, let's say, for example, like
Both of them have a mice?
what?
Both of them there's a mice? In both of them there's a mice going on?
There's always a mice and always I want to have a Chalois. Liga, I have an action, and the action wants to produce a law. Chalois. Now, Terra says, Chetzi such an action. What's the problem? Terra attacks the action, or Terra attacks the result. So he brings you that Terra attacks even the results. What's the guy? Somebody says, two of you have, even the mice. Terra attacks even the mice. What's the guy? Right? So when he says, he's jumping mice and chalois, you get mixed up.
It comes out for business two halves. So the Maaseh is two halves. That's the problem. It's already got two halves. So that's the halos is one half. So there's no problem with that. He's trying to. The problem is in the Maaseh Kedushin, which is the word coming out as two halves.
The problem in the mice, there is a mice.
The Maaseh of the Kedushin, yeah, it's two halves. Yeah, so he's neder, he's two halves. He's saying he's giving her the Maaseh Kedushin in two halves. He's receiving it as one half. She receives two halves as one half. So she says,
Here the Gemara says, and this side doesn't work. Why not? If the problem was only the result, she got a full result of a full woman. Must be the problem is an action, not in the result, or even an action.
And when you say you have a mice, it sounds like the mice came out.
When there's no mice, there's no chalois too.
That's what I'm saying.
But when there's no chalois, there's still no mice.
That's what I'm saying. To me, it's not that if there's no color, there's no mice.
No. Mice has no meaning. There is a mice.
There's no mice.
But it's there. What's enough community when he says two halves? When he say two halves, she got a result of full. I want to marry two of you half and two, but which means two of you half means fully. So she got a result of a full woman.
I think you say it's
Yeah, think about. Well, 1 second. So now the chisoron two halves. Is a chisoron in the result or is a chisoron in the action? When you say I want to marry two of my half, so means two means my full body or half a body? Full body. It's a result. The result of two halves is full. So she received full body. So the chalois isn't going to go a full body. The problem is how that chalois came to reality through two halves is a problem on the mice. See, the problem of chetzisha is also in the mice. The Torah also cared that the same one the Torah doesn't want to have a half relationship in the result of the law. Also, Torah doesn't want in the mice to make an action of half. So it's a relationship of a marriage. It's a full action and a full result. Half action is also not good. Yes. What's kind of? That's a logic.
He's holding on to the two branches and she's holding on to
You follow Jonathan?
That's what's happening.
What?
That's actually the problem. They should be holding one branch together, both holding on.
How did you follow us? With him. Very good. Okay. Learning yes is one thing, but you understand it.
I understand that you have to go through. I understand that. Even the action is good, but the result is not good. That's just not happen, woman.
That's one side. The other side is Even though the result is good, to have two halves, the result is a full woman. But the problem is in action. Yes. So he shows you that there's also a problem in action.
So
Now, that being said,
that's exactly also. So basically, if you have basically one problem, so you said you have to make another problem. If you spill one cup of milk, you said you have to spill a second cup of milk.
right? But if
If Taylor said, Hatzi is the problem, you said you have to extend it and make it big, make it more of a problem.
I'll answer good.
What you said you have a right to do it. What gives you a license to do it?
Right? So that's it. You can say only, you can say also.
Why?
Well, two sides.
You need a license. If you want to say also, you have to have a license. So you have to have a reason why. Since Gemara broke Hatzi, so you said you have to extend it.
So I discussed it with the Melech. I think it's understanding of the rabbis. The Torah says not a half a woman, a full woman, full in all circumstances, in all ways. The Maisa and the reason.
Really, it's saying from the Taisus over there and Gittin over there. That Taisus is saying based on
Be
that.
all.
Based on that Taisus.
Oh, it's a be all. Mem Gimel. But no, this is Surya. Vim Noima.
Separate thing, but I'm kind of saying there's two separate departments here.
Right? And he brings you,
two separate departments.
right, but he brings the riots, even the Kalois, even in the Maisa.
Not enough money, there's not enough kids. Khalifin doesn't work. There's no action. In the result, it's a fetus. You can't be the contract. There's nothing over there.
Right.
What do you make? You
It take effect.
want to make illusion on a tree. Does it work?
Right.
It's a tree.
Good, so.
So it's two different things. It's two different things. So they automatically.
But we see from the Gemara when he says Shnei Chatzei, there's a side that even then it doesn't work, even though the result is a full woman. Must be from the Gemara, we see the problem is in the mice.
That's what Chaim said. But also, I mean, that part.
No, so now when I say, now that I say,
How do we know
it's the mice,
the basis?
I'm adding to that. You can say it means only mice. I think it means also mice. Because what's the other side of the Gemara that it works?
What's the other side of the Gemara?
Yes.
Because.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the problem with those?
Oh, Vadai bechatzim no komalon. Right here, chatzim no komalon.
He did one kedusha, with two hairs. So he included everything in one shot. We never said before. We never said this is different than all other cases because here he's doing kedusha over all of her in one shot. So it's different than the other cases.
So therefore what?
Therefore,
The mice is but he's doing a mice of two halves.
and the mice is the problem on the mice.
What's the side?
Then he didn't. That he doesn't. Then he didn't explain. I didn't explain why in the other side the mice does work. Because he did two halves, two. He take the two together. He put them together. He did one condition over both.
Okay, I rather say what you said.
Which?
What you said just now. Instead of saying that the other side of the Gemara is a problem in the Chalois, I would say no, it's in the Maise. The Gemara says such a Maise that is a Mavasachas, there's no problem. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Why is
The other side is good. But
okay? So two halves. Why the other side is good? The other side is good because I only care about Chalois and Chalois is good. I don't care about a Maise, but because of Mavasachas, no problem. What do you want to say?
This question. Okay, so now we already divided into the Maise and the Chalos.
Right.
Okay, and now with this question, we're dividing the Maise into the Neder and into the Pishta and the still counting. There's now two aspects of this. One is we're not concerned with in Shnei Chatziecha, we're not concerned with the Pashta anymore, but now we're concerned with the Neder. We're concerned with the Bedavar, with his works. Is the separation of his works.
Very good. I want to relate to what he said. Listen carefully. Toisa says that if I say lost the kiddushin, will expand. Right? Then I have what? I have a result of a complete kiddushin. Even though the Maisa was done in half, because it expands, okay, so which means there's no problem in the Maisa. There's only problem on what? Or the Bayam and Toises, or like the makne, it's not in the rekamiut, it's only a mashmos. That's what can expand. And you may have a full mice and all.
Taisus is the kasha on the other case, the case of Chetzek Bekuta, where it's two separate mice in kedusha. So, and over here, when you get to the second Mighty Kedushin, then you can say it expands with the other one. Over here, in this case, there's no two separate Mighty Kedushins. It's only one Mighty Kedushin.
Yes, that's the first side.
But don't.
And now when he says Chetz
On the
Bebulo,
other side, there's also one Mighty Kedushin, just that he broke her into two parts. So both sides of one Mighty.
They broke his side too.
Even though the words of Rabbi Shmuel seem to be different.
what?
They broke both sides. It's Isha, right?
Chetz, no, he said Shnei Chetzah Bebruto, he said Chetzach Bebruto and Chetzach Bebruto. They did the mamish like two mice. He's moine of oilech. The other side of the moine of oilech is like there's one mice and the words are just consecutively saying one after the other. So I have a full mice in the words at least. Right. He did the mice consecutively in one shot.
But you only had one fruit, though, so there's only one Mighty.
So I rather say that the Bika Shmuel, I rather say that the Bika Shmuel is really learning, the Reb Chaim Alevi is learning, that the problem of Ishon Chetzisha is only prominent mice. I said also, instead of saying that the other side is Halois, I would say the other side is in the mice, which is being sub bevasachas, bechadzimno, there's no problem of such a mice. The email is machria, it's only mice.
She's saying that when it comes to the Chalois, on the side that it's no good.
What?
But she's saying that when it comes to the Chalois, if you only focus on the Chalois,
It'll be good. It'll be very good.
it's no good.
Be good. But Shnei Chetzah will be good.
So then you don't have a proof. You don't have,
Why not? Why not?
because in any case it's good. In the mice it's good, and the other thing, and the Chalois.
No. If there's a problem of Chalois, not a problem. So the Chalois, both sides should be good. Not only Mechatzimnos. Any Shem Kadesh the Chatzoim Klal doesn't exist.
That's a kind.
Right.
But the Rosh Hashiva wanted to say also.
No, I'm removing those. I rather say, like you said, rather say that the Chaim Alevi says only mice, and not also mice. Therefore, you bring the proof. The Tutzon the Gemara is mice bechadazim, no? I do two mice bechadazim like one mice. No chisor the mice. Oh no, it's two mice. But definitely the result should not be a problem on both sides. Chaim Alevi brings down. See, we don't care about the result. Care about the mice. Okay. Ve'im noima. I'm continuing on in the Bikashmu. Ve'im noima. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 lines on the top. Ve'im noima. If we're going to say the abiur shel din chetzi ishahu, the law of the law, the explanation of the law of chetzi, it is the leike chalois kiddush al chetzi isha. There's no law taking effect on half a woman. Shut up. עדיף שיהיה לך זה. קודם כל, החבר'ה שלך בכלל לומדים את הנושא הזה? We'll take this one. Take this one. בקשמור. Okay. She says, V'im loima, if we're going to say, the abiur shel din chetzi isha hu, I'm reading 9 lines on the top, 10 lines on the top. The leike chalos kiddush al chetzi isha, if you're going to say the promise and the result, in ken mashayich v'zeloima, what does apply to this to say, din isha al chetzi isha, what's the problem of chetzi isha, kshoyim shnei chetziai, soif, end, or afilu avu shnei maisim kiddush, even have 2 action of kiddushin, Ma bekach, what do I care? The result is kiddushin on 2 halves means all. In Avada, must be for sure. The adinum ba'maisis kachus, the leke maisis kachus. The problem of chetzi isha, it's an action of the kiddushin. There's no maisav is kachus. Now v'im ken. Now the question is, this all was a preface to the kash. V'im ken. If so, my porich. What's the Gemara's question? The post kedusha bekula, that the kedusha will expand an entire animal, entire woman. Or behold here, avedim b'maisa kedushin. Here it's an action. It's a law in action of kedushin. The leke maisa kedushin. When he does chetzi, there's no maisa in other chetzi. So what I care that the isul expands, but there's no maisa. By egdesh, Like Gzeras HaKosu, but there's no Gzeras HaKosu that the Maisa expands. Va'ech Shaykh Lilmoy Kiddushim Ve'egdesh. How does Shaykh to learn Kiddushim Ve'egdesh? No, Ve'egdesh like Gzeras HaKosu the Chetzi. Ve'egdesh no Gzeras HaKosu that Chetzi will be a problem. Chetzi is a problem that is half a neder. How are we going to say Poshto B'chaygam the Chosam Ma'asekich? Well, I say Poshto when there's only Isu. I have a Isu and a half. It can expand from Isu and a half to Isu at all. But when I have Chetzi Isu, it's not a Isu and a half. There's no Maise. It's only an action of Kicha. So even though I expand the Isu, but I can expand the Maise Kicha. Yes? That was the question number one we asked in this week. That was the question number one.
There's a possible issue, and there's no possible.
Oh, that's what he's adding, but he's not saying that. That's the makne. But he wants to say the makne, that's the levush of the makne, what you said. The panemi is not a problem of here's a posuk and there's no posuk. And knocks out chetzi. He's saying there I'm expanding just the kedusha. Here I'm going to expand my sekicha. And my sekicha I cannot expand because there's a posuk. Vezo be'emes. What is be'emes? And it truly bil kush as a makne. When you read the makne, you see, no, he is a posuk. No. Be'emes. The bill is that the iksho. The my shaykh, chaloima, poshush bekula is not shaykh. I need to expand the mais kicha. I don't expand the kedusha. I'm expanding the mais kicha. The mais kicha is out. There's kicha. The yisrael chetzis is out.
That's the secret.
He's asking two questions. Number one, he asked is the posuk. The makne asks two questions. Yes, la dak the lichoy. The lichoy the my pork le nishtu kedush bekulo. Milo itane hagerov yolo mikodesh le chetzis. That's question number one. The two questions, next round. The my question shiny the Bayish Chetzi Beima, a cover noise Chetzi, the Kodesh, Avilu Berag, Shaloy, Lok, Dushas Dom. If you want to call it, carrying a Poshdusha, Mashinke Bisha, they ain't going to because no my Sekicha. Cloud, the Shudusha. My cousin name is Dush Mekula, I'm saying that's the second question. He's asking really, not that there's a Kedusha in here, there's no Kedusha. He's really asking that there's not Shayach. Not shaykh to expand. By Kedusha, you can expand the Kedusha. But by Kicha, you need Das, you need the Maisakinyan. You can expand the holiness, the Isu, but not the Maisakinyan. How you expand the Maisakinyan? What's the demon from expanding the Kedusha to expand Maisakinyan? Then you need Das, you need Maisa. Two different things.
So he seems to be saying here that
yes.
The sibur to say that because there's a gzeira supposed to, but it's sibur to say that you're carrying that to good. But they don't have a possible.
Again.
He's saying it's totally on the Gzeira Sekosov. He said the Gzeira Sekosov is the Siba to make a Gesarin in the Etzidin. But he said by Hegd, if you don't have a Gzeira Sekosov, maybe there's no Siba for the Gesarin in the Etzidin. It's at the Pasuk, it's the Siba for it.
Okay. They have a Pasuk. They don't have a Pasuk. They're not saying Abimele can expand. And he have a Pasuk, so cannot expand. But he's not saying that. He's saying, what my Shayach. How can I expand my sekicha? It's really more than the depth of the second kash. There, chetzi shayach, kushas domi. So you may like it just needs to expand. Here, there's no my sekicha and chetzi. So you expand the kedusha, but how can you expand my sekicha? That's really the depth. What is really asking?
One more point that therefore there is no kedusha.
Yes. Second kash.
Therefore there is no kedusha. So then, how can you make something out of nothing?
Answer. We're finishing. Alex, few minutes we finish. It's all chloima. We need an answer. The biur akusha shel Gemara, the explanation of the question of the Gemara is dalidei the poshto kedusha rekulo, since the holiness expands in the whole. Areyesh kan ma'ase kiddushin rekulo. I also expand the ma'ase kiddushin already in the poshto. I don't just expand the kedusha by kiddushin. I also expand the ma'ase. The gam gabe Egdesh have adin the nice neder sholem al the din poshto. Also by Egdesh, I don't just expand the isu. I expand the act of the vow. That was an act of the bringing the kedusha. So I don't only expand the holiness. I expand the act of the vow to make it a complete vow, of an act of vow. So same way there, I expand the ma'ase neder and all. Also here, I expand the ma'ase kiddushin. Ochanami yezen nice ma'ase kiddushin bekulo. So I'm learning from the expansion. I'm not only expanding, the Kedusha was expanding the Maisa Neder, the Dibur of the Neder. So I'll say here, I'm expanding the Maisa Kedusha. How can I expand? Okay, so the next piece he explains the concept of Gamri that we found. We learned by Matzino from because we found such a concept that the Maisa can finish. There's a question of the Zal. Let's say you have Chetzi Isha Chetzi Shifra, that a Jew married her. So now you married, all what is left is Chetzi, a free woman. But when the other half, the other half's slavery gets free, so the Gemara says, oh, it cancels or expands. The Gemara is Maskona, there's two Rav Nachman. The last Rav Nachman is, the Aloch is the Basra, and the Gamra expands and it finishes. When you have a kasha or to finish, it means no. I meant to say, since when I did all what I can, now there's an option. I did all what I can, and now it's all going to fall down, all going to last. We said last. Oh, say here, it's not the same. I didn't do all what I can. But here, when I said Chetzi, Isha, and I mean to say that will expand. It's all part of my. So now, since Chetzi is not my Chetzi, so I have two options: or the Zal, or expand. You say it's part of my mindset to expand, and email is part of my mindset to be at all to be going. What?
It's harder to have a minimum of time. In the case you were saying that you're going to have two like the for shit.
Yes.
And I was saying because if I shit, it's going to have a teacher.
Yes. Why? One say very good. Kasha was I can expand the Isra, I can expand the Maisakira. The answer is I'm expanding also the Maisakira.
Yeah, but you're saying
because even by he's saying two things. Because even by Egdesh, I have to expand the Maise Neder. The Dibo Neder will be able to pull it. Same way by Neder, there's a din that I not only expand the Kedusha, I also expand the Maise of Neder. So I'm not learning the Kedusha expansion. I don't know. I'm only learning that I learned from concept of Gamri. And I'm learning from Egdesh that the Maise can be finished. Again, that's the next which we didn't learn it, but it's about because the time is
in the Kasha stage, you were saying that the Pashtit is really the second stage. I was saying
first I expand the Maise. The answer is
you have a Maise, and we're going to expand
right. The answer is I expand the Maise automatically. When I say Chetzi, not only the Kedusha expands on its own, also the Maise expands on its own. Why? Because I have two options: or it's the Zal, or it finishes. We see that the das of a person, in a different case, when a person did all what he can, because I only have Chetzi Isha, Chetzi Shifra. So I'm not Meshayach Bekina and do all I can. Now the other half Shifra gets free, so then I have an option, or is the Zal, or finishes. I say he's that's what to finish. So that I know on my own, I know from there. So when I learn from Hegdesh to when I learn Hegdesh to Kiddushi, and I'm learning both things. I'm not learning the Kedusha expands and also the Maise expands. The Kedusha is not a problem. I'm only learning from Egdesh that the Maise expands because I found when I do all what I can, that when the other half gets out, expands. Also here, when I didn't do all what I can, I just did Chetzi, not all. I'm learning from Egdesh that the Maise will expand. The Maise will become complete Maise in the Das. There's no Chetzi, yes.
Take the first half of the
yes.
Does he have to then make the next half Hekdesh by saying it? So it expands by virtue of the new Maisa.
Right. That's his problem. He needed new Maisa to expand. How does it expand? So if I show you that there's something intrinsic in all Maisa Kiddushim, and when it gets to a point, or to dissolve, or to expand and finish, I say expand.
No, not sure.
And when I did all what I can, so I'm learning from Egdesh that the Maisa can finish. The Dibu, the Maisa can finish.
There's a there's a concept that says didn't wait. That's the answer to the question.
That's because this is what?
There's a concept that says that the Hafi mice is not a mice. The
answer is where the Tzarasa Koshuv said is not a mice and when it stays Chetzi. Like when you see when I did all what I can and I did Chetzi Yeshiva Chetzi Vaschoyim. And I did all what I can. Now the Chetzi is Mishtake. And I did all what I can. What I say, he bounce out. or she finished.
But it never started here. There's no-
Same thing is here. But the Torah says, Isha Lechetzi Isha is also saying not only to bounce it out, is when you have two options, finish it again. When I don't have two options, I knock it out. There's Isha Lechetzi Isha. But when I do all what I can, my Chetzi Isha is going to now can expand. I have two options, or to knock it out, or to fulfill it. I say Isha Lechetzi Isha says, fill it up, gam. So that's what I'm learning. When I have a full Isha, she's not Chetzi Yeshiva. I said Chetzi b'lei kuloi. So now I say the Torah says Isha Lechetzi. Torah says instead of throwing it, expand the Ma'aser all.
But then you have nothing ever got started on these. Ma'aser wasn't a Ma'aser, so there's nothing here. How can you say it's fit?
So the answering that we don't have Xeras HaKosu, Isha Lechetzi Isha, only to tell you get it knocks out. The Isha Lechetzi Isha also tells you there is Xeras HaKosu, but there's two Xeras HaKosu. One is the Torah says Chetzi gets bounced out. When I say Chetzi gets bounced out, never started. But when you see when I have two options, or dissolve it or to expand it,
If it doesn't start it, you can't expand something that doesn't exist. How can you expand?
same way by Kedusha, I expand the Ma'aser. Also here when the Torah says Isha Lechetzi Isha, the Torah is saying expand it.
But Kedusha is different because you have
And the Ma'aser.
but you have something. Over here, by Kedusha, you're making something.
Yeah, right. And here,
You get something out of nothing. How can you make something?
but since I see a din mesuyom in Kiddushi, that when I'm not Messiah, I assume the Torah meant that it be complete. The same person that says Isha Lechetzi Isha. Once he's asking like this.
But
And this is not. When somebody's Mekadesh Chetzi Isha, the Chetzi Baschoim, right? Now he's Mekadesh all what he can in half a woman. Now the other half gets free. So then, why the law is Rav Nachman says expands? This 1 second. The Torah says Isha Lechetzi Isha, and therefore it bounce out.
it had different qualities.
What about the Xeras HaKosu?
You do have something, but they had the quality like Shire.
Right.
But you have something.
Right.
You can make something.
Right.
That makes sense. But over here, it's
1
nothing
second.
got enough.
But when he said Xeras HaKosu, it says Isha Lechetzi Isha.
Comprehend.
But you're right. But Aval Piken, we see that when the Torah says Isha Lechetzi Isha, doesn't mean always to bounce it out. In a place where it's something, I don't bounce it out, even though it's Chetzi Isha. So also he wants to say, I'm learning from Edu. I'm learning this, I wouldn't say. From Gamre to here, you're right. Gamre, it's where I did what I can and Chetzi exists. And now I have an option or to destroy or to expand, I expand. And here, the Chetzi is not even Kedusha Stomim, it's nothing. The answer is you're right. Now that it's nothing, I have two options, to knock it out or to expand it. I'm learning from Egdesh. There's two Xeras HaKosu in Egdesh. One is that I finish the Ma'aser Neder. The other thing is the Kedusha expands. So by off, we have a suffix, Kedusha expands by off or not. Kedusha definitely Kedusha will not expand. But here, I'm not talking about Kedusha. Shitas HaRambam and all the Rishonim, it's not about Kedusha Losh and Egdesh. The rules of Egdesh. It's not Dafka Kedusha. In Eile, its only question is what the Torah meant, what Torah says Isha Lechetzi Isha. To knock it out or to Mekayim. The answer is when she doesn't want it, she doesn't want it, gets knocked out. But before we had the svora that she knocks it out, Nahavaminas Kasha, that we don't care about, that she agreed to what he said. So she wants it. So now it's only mitzvah Xeras HaKosu. No, the Torah says you have to cancel to finish. We finish it like we find by Egdesh. So Egdesh will teach you pshat in Xeras HaKosu. Isha Lechetzi Isha. The Torah says I cannot have half a woman. What does Torah mean to say I cannot have? It means it's no good or means finish? Finish. I learned from Egdesh, Torah meant to say to finish.
She's saying that half of it does get started. Saying that half of it really does get started. Half.
Mele finishes. Mele started.
Half did work. You got the half and then.
And then the Torah says that cannot be. Mele finish it. We learned from Egdesh that shouting Xeras HaKosu. Isha Lechetzi Isha is to expand, like we see when I did all what I can on Chetzi, and now the other Chetzi is open. I have two options. I say finish. What about the Xeras HaKosu? No, we say the Xeras HaKosu meant to finish. Isha Lechetzi Isha means finish. Also here, when I don't have a good mindset, we learn from Egnes that the shot that Isochetzi means to finish. Yes, I will have.
Don't start the car. Think back of the car starts.
So that this past just starts, huh?
Yes.
So what's
And now we learn what?
Also have a minute of time.
Chaim or the Gemara?
Okay. This is a Kiddush, yeah?
Yes. Yes, his Kiddush is, the Havamina was that I only expand the Kedusha, I cannot expand the Mice. Answer is, I'm learning from the Pasuk, Isha Lechotzi Isha. And I'm learning from the Egdes Pshat in the Pasuk, that when you have an option or to cancel or to fulfill, we say fulfill it up. Like we see by Chetzi Isha, Chetzi Shif, as Koirim, that there I know Abraham Shir Bekinyan, and now the other Chetzi is free. I say finish it, even though the Pasuk says knock it out. Say no, don't knock it out, finish. So we learn from Ekdesh that Shabbat tells the Jivu Chetzisha means finish it.
It's also
Even a place where we didn't start.
It's also a Kiddush in the beginning of it, because he said, it looks like it's not all day. The past.
No, it's the same din. And he's saying like this. The call Ikalim the last 4 lines. The call Ikalim would Kiddush in Me'eda Sharu Rakli and Akzer Asakos. The Ech Yocholi Gomer and Neder Vael Shad Din the Posto. Or Hanam Yocholi Gomer Din the Kiddush and Mekira the Din the Gamre. It's not the same din. The last 4 lines. The call Ikalim. Kiddush, I jumped to them because now it's 4:06. I have to go. The call Ikalim and Kiddush in Megdesh. Orakel Gabe Akzer Asakos. The Ech Yocholi Gomer and Neder Vael Shad Din the Posto. Or Hanam Yocholi Gomer Din Kiddush here and Din the Gamre. It's not the same din. That's a din that the Kedusha expands, the Maisa expands of the Neder. Here, the Maisa Kicha expands from the law of Gamre because we learn from Egdesh that probably the Torah meant Ishmael Chetzisha means to finish, not to cancel the finish. But din Tzachel Chilu ben Be'em Eloiv. And the Maskona Gemara says, no. Going to Moshe Rishonim, it's not true. There's examples of Ishmael Chetzisha, then an Aksar, only Bekinyan, something that expands. When I'm not Meshach Bekin, I did Chetzi. I don't learn from Kiddush, and also there is also din. I don't learn from Egdesh that there's also din Gamre there that I finish it, I cancel it. That's how we must. Okay, we'll learn more. Just started. More to learn inside.
Was the next Maram
First, finish this call. Make us more well, and I want you to see if you have time. There, take a read. It's all printed here. You have Toshas Reed here. Ritvo. There's a Ritvo here. Very important Ritvo. Ritvo and Toshas Reed. Those are the other Rishon. Then Achroinim. You have Avnei Miluim. Shimon Shkop. We'll see what we can do to learn.